Hey, it's Laniustron. One of the most interesting things in Bethesda games has got to be the huge amount of unnecessary and worthless items scattered across their open worlds. With that in mind, I wondered, can you beat Fallout 3 as a tin can trader? Let's find out. Before we start, what about some rules? All my items must come from trading tin cans and bent tin cans. Second, quest-related items and keys found to open doors are allowed. Third, I must be the main storyline in the game. And fourth, I am allowed to use free water sources and beds to regain health and fix broken lamps. My name for this run is pretty straightforward. Kenneth Boy. Afterwards, I made an appropriate ominous face, for Fallout 3 anyways. Now to my stats. Consider how expensive things can be in the game. I was planning on making a pretty basic melee build. And tin cans don't really have much weight, but when you're hauling a truckload of them, that may get heavy. So, strength set at 9, mostly to maximize carrying weight. Perception set at 1, as it wasn't particularly useful in this run. Endurance set at 8 for better overall health. Charisma set at 4 to unlock a specific perk that requires 4 points in charisma. Intelligence I set at 8 for more skill points when I level up. Agility I left at 3 for no particular reason, really, I just did. And lucky a solid 7, so I could try and score a few critical hits. As soon as I became a 10-year-old boy, I dropped my vault suit the instant I got the Pip-Boy. Given that, I didn't really trade anything for it. I did the same with every present they gave me. I simply dropped them on the ground. Sorry, no recycling, no gifts. The only gift I wasn't able to drop was the BB gun, as it's a quest-related item and you can't really get rid of it sadly. At 16 years old, I refused to take the free bubble head as it didn't fit the rules. I skipped the goat and manually selected the skills. Barter to get better deals from traders. This way the tin can trade could thrive. Melee weapons because it was going to be my main weapon of choice. And speech. I plan to use the skill to talk my way into places if needed or to negotiate better discounts. Now the game officially starts. I refuse Amada's gun and proceed to drop my vault suit. Seriously, stop giving me that. I don't want it. And about pins. I said no to my childhood bully and made my way to the overseer's chambers, where I grabbed the key and the password to access the terminal and leave the vault. I hit level 2 as soon as I left the vault. For the moment, the best approach was to distribute my points equally, while focus more on barter and melee weapons. As for my perks, I selected Little Leaguer for the extra points in melee weapons and explosives. Now the run really begins. You see this? This tin can over here, not only would I need to keep an eye out for them, but also have to actively go looking for them. As you can see, there aren't that many close to Megaton. So, I only marked the city on my map and head to the Super Duper Mart, the nearest spot with a good supplies of tin cans, and yeah, that was a guy. Once inside the market, I was naked, with no guns and no healing items, so I did my best to grab as many tin cans as possible before the raiders spotted me. They did see me, but since they're designed to be some of the first enemies I encountered, they weren't too strong. That didn't mean to stick around to take out the hit though. I built out for it now, completely forgetting about the freaking Yaogwai outside. And well, I died for the first time. On my second attempt, I entered the market again and looked for a position where I could stay hidden. Waiting there seemed to make the Yaogwai go away for a while. I went across the bridge to find a bed I could use to rest before heading back to Megaton. Once there, I grabbed all the tin cans I could find. I also accepted Lucy West's quest to deliver a letter to her family in Airfoot. Oh, and did you know, being kind to goose can really pay off? Since I didn't insult Gob at the Moriarty Saloon, he gave me a discount on all his products, especially Steam Packs. This made him, for now anyway, the person selling Steam Packs at the cheapest price. By the way, I didn't buy anything for him. I just wanted to check how much my stuff was worth first. I also picked up the holotape regarding the missing android from the doctor's office. Afterward, I met Moore and agreed to help her with the first chapter of her book. Just the first chapter though. Each chapter consists of 3 quests, but the only one relevant to us is the second quest in the first chapter, which involves getting radiation sickness. For now though, let's just agree to head to the minefield. And so, I made my first raid on the run. As you can see, I got a baseball bat as my weapon and a Burma skin outfit. Normally, the outfit would be pretty relevant, but this time, the extra agility and endurance were more than welcome. All it cost me was 22 tin cans. On my way to airfield, I made a quick stop at Big Town for 3 things. First, to sleep, I got attacked by more rats on the way. Second, to grab tin cans, and third, to pick up the holotape on Red's desk. With that, I officially started the quest, The Replicated Man. At airfield, the quest was as straightforward as it gets, going door to door to check on everyone, only to find out that the Wests were dead and Ia had been taken by the family. So I made my way straight to the Northwest Seneca station, where I entered the local market to loot for more tin cans. Once down at the station, I played safe by letting Murphy and his buddy deal with the more rats instead of wasting my bet on them. Oh, I also ignored the Mirelurks and the mines placed by the family handled them. By telling Robert that I was there to take the kid, he let me in without any problems. I then managed to pass a 22% speed check with Justin, who told me the password to access the terminal and talk to Ian. I delivered Lucy's letter to Ian, which was enough to convince him to leave that nut house. Next, I used my intelligence to convince Vance to make a deal with Arthur in exchange for blood packs. Back in Arthur, I informed Evan about the deal, which he agreed. This completed the quest and I leveled up. At level 3, I increased my barter to 43, melee to 55, and speed to 40. For my perk, I select another level of Little Leaguer. Afterward, I talked to Brady, who can give you a few tin cans after completing the quest. To work up the deal with a bow, or maybe a kiss, Vince is weird. I returned to the family's hideout. Vance sent a man to protect the town and taught me the ways of being a vampire, which essentially grants you a perk, allowing you to regain 20 points of health from blood packs. Not that I use it, but hey, it's a free perk. I was in the air and I figured, hey, I can go to minefield, what could possibly go wrong? Well, how about the node sniper dude who kept shooting the freaking mines and left me with just 1 HP. Yep, that happened. As soon as the Arkansas moved to change positions, I ran like a weird clown, scrambling to get the hell out of there. Back at the Moira's place, I was ready for another quest from the first chapter. This time, I agreed to head back to the Super Duper Mart to look for supplies and medicine. I also dropped the grenade she gave me for my trip to Minefield. Before leaving, I entered her shop to check how much my cans were worth at the moment, but I decided to hold off the trading for now. Before going to the market though, I fast traveled back to Big Town to sleep off my pain and recover from broken limbs. Back at the Super Duper Mart, I killed the raiders and got overcumbered with so many tin cans that I even discovered that when you drop tin cans, they stack instead of fall individually, which made it much easier to pick them up later. Oh, and I also died for the second time during this run. Due to some poor decision making on my second attempt, I did basically the same thing, except this time I kept luring the raiders into the restroom, where there was a sink that I could repeatedly use to heal myself. Anyway, I grabbed the key to the pharmacy, checked for medicine, and then returned to Moira. This left only one quest remaining for the first chapter, gaining radiation sickness. I decided to let the quest marinate for now. After dropping everything she gave me, as you can see, and finding that my carrying weight was nearly maxed out, I had no choice but to trade a few things. For 30 cans, I acquired a tie iron as a secondary weapon and a Radiant Blade Master helmet for added protection. I also visited Gob to buy a steam pack for him. As you can see, 2 steam packs cost 7 bent tin cans and 61 tin cans. Afterward, I made my way to Rivet City, following the river instead of risking my life in the tunnels. Sure, the metro system has loads of cans, but it wasn't worth the risk. After talking to Dr. Lee, I did a smart thing and marked Vault 112 on my map, figuring it was easier to go there first instead of the Jefferson Memorial. I killed the enemy there with ease and tried to enter the launcher. But you do need a vault suit, so a quest item basically. I leveled up as soon as I entered Tranquility Lane, hitting level 4. I increased my barter to 51, melee to 65, and speed to 45. My perk at this level was the whole reason I invested 4 points into Charisma. Child at heart. It could come in handy later. Wasting no time, I headed straight to the abandoned house to activate the failsafe and let the Chinese invade. I left the launcher and talked to Dad for the first time in weeks, or was it months? Time in Fallout is weird. Travel with Dad, especially when you have limited resources, can be unexpected. So I decided not to go within. It was safer that way. I leveled up again, my word, that's just a free level. At level 5, I bumped my bar to 60, melee to 70, and speed to 49. I also took the counter perk for an extra 5 points in bar and speech. After dropping the vault suit, I fast traveled back to Rivet City. There I went to the church to grab the last holotape. I talked to Dad again, and we agreed to head to the memorial together. Before going, I met a vendor outside Rivet City and I figured I deserved some better weapons. I traded 42 tin cans for a baseball bat to repair mine and 2 tire irons to keep mine in good condition. At the memorial, Dad seemed to be holding his own against the mutants, but I decided to help anyway. Then, nature surprised me, some mutant contortionism. It just works. Anyway, and Ahold and Garza died, but honestly, nobody cares about them. Victoria Watts appeared out of nowhere, asking me to deliver a part of a synth to Zimmer. This would convince him that his manservant was gone for good. Dad then asked me to go inside the memorial and sacrifice myself. Gee, thanks Dad. Before entering, I drank some fresh radioactive water. Inside things were relatively easy. Regular spray mutants were no match for my current build and weapons, plus there was a sink I could keep using to regain HP. The only real threat that super mutants posed was if they were brutes or overlords. Now, those could cause some serious problems. With the mutants dealt with, I went back outside to inform the scientists that their problems had been solved. Before progressing further, I took care of a few things. First, I talked to Zimmer and handed over the android part. Convinced him to leave. He rewarded me with 50 caps, which I dropped into a footlocker nearby. At level 6, I increased my barter to 72, melee weapons to 75, and speed to 60. For my perk, I chose Bloody Mess perk for the extra damage. Bloody Mess, what the hell? Back in Megaton, I traded some cans for 1 more steam packs and then returned back to the memorial. I did everything that told me to, right up until the moment the Enclave decided to invade. The Enclave soldiers were pretty resistant and dealing heavy damage, but nothing Quick Nap couldn't fix. Dad sacrificed himself, and I exited the room and headed straight to the manhole. Dr. Lee didn't follow me at first, and the Enclave was dealing more damage than I cared to admit. I played it safe, going up and down the stairs repeatedly until Dr. Lee finally decided to follow me down. When I got to the computer, I let Lee do her thing and hack it. The ghouls weren't a threat, so that's nice. With that, I completed the quest and head straight to the Citadel, where Rothschild gave me access through the terminal. I discovered that the gag was in Vault 87. You know, the radioactive one, the one you really don't want to enter with limited supplies. I traveled back to Megaton, where I received a stress call from Vault 101, and decided to help them out. I passed a speed check with the Overseer, who admitted to be in the wrong, and named his daughter as the new Overseer. She, however, was rude enough to banish me from the vault. I dropped the vault suit she gave me. Please stop giving me vault suits. I leveled up again, this time focusing on increasing barter and melee weapons only, and I chose a toughness perk. At little lamplight, you can really see why I selected the Child at Heart perk earlier. As far as I know, there are 3 ways to enter the lamplight. You can risk a speed check, use Child at Heart, or rescue the children from Paradise Falls. The enemies at Paradise Falls do heavy damage, and I wasn't sure if they have enough resources at this point to run, leaving the perk as the only free pass. Because I lacked science skills, the murder path was my only option. I did try luring the mutants and letting the kids do the heavy lifting, but they just ended up fleeing. So much for being the mayor. The dog did help a little, but I accidentally hit it and had to put it down. I died for a 3rd time this run, but my 2nd attempt was much more successful. I leveled up again and decided to sacrifice points into speech, put a few points into medicine instead for better steam pack effectiveness. I also selected that is Boy perk for an additional 5 points. I killed a few ants and took a quick nap. From this point on, I simply ran like hell from the mutants and learned a valuable lesson. We create our own hell. I activated the fire alarm and then I was forced to use all my steam pack. Just look at this. How the frick did I survive that? Hell if I know. All I know is that I freed Fox and let him solo all the mutants for a solid 10 minutes while I cowered in his room. The massacre was beautiful, and Fox, he ripped the gag for me, because clearly I couldn't survive down there without him. Oh, and Oro came earlier this year. By the time the president freed me, my own outfit was broken, my only weapon was a very usable tire iron, and I was completely out of steam packs. Oh boy. Thankfully, I managed to pass the speed check and mend a few broken limbs before Oro unleashed the enclave on me. The path was relatively straightforward, and I met the president. With some basic intelligence, I was able to convince him to destroy himself, or itself? Along with the entire amount. I successfully escaped, but being the selfish tin can trader that I am, I left Fox behind. Before progressing with the main story, let's talk shopping. Do you remember why I didn't complete Moira's first chapter earlier? Here's the reason. I was afraid of hitting high levels of radiation during my time in Vault 87, and my levels were pretty high. So I used Moira's quest to eliminate all of that for good. Once again, I dropped all the items she gave me and proceeded to buy some gear. Thanks to my body skills, prices were a lot better. So I traded 17 tin cans for a combat helmet, leather armor, and a wasteland outfit. After that, I bought 4 steam packs from Gob and headed to Rivet City for better weapons, including a sledgehammer and a few other trinkets, all for just 49 tin cans. Back at the Citadel, I handed over the virus, and I refused the power armor. Sarah said the key word for this run,
pride backing you up, not to mention this giant tin can.
And I leveled up again. I maxed out melee weapons and invested remaining points into medicine. My perk for this level was Intense Training, which I used to increase my strength to 10. The final battle was straightforward, just let the tin cans do all the work. I did end up a few broken limbs due to explosions, but just one steam pack was enough to fix all that. On my first try, I convinced Autumn to flee, and I was so happy to have made it that far that I kept pressing 217 over and over again. By the time I remembered checking my Pip-Boy for the correct password, I died. Well, I guess I deserve that. I also died on my 2nd attempt, but my 3rd try was much better. I made the heroic choice and decided it was best to simply recycle myself. And I finished the game as a tin can trader. Well, that was pretty fun. I really hope to do more trader runs in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please leave likes, comments and subscribe. I'm Laniustron. Until next time.